What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Accepting All Trades. And this one being the Pittsburgh Penguins. Thanks to the comment from LCS saying how Pittsburgh's kind of in between rebuilding and going for it, and they're interested to see kind of which way the trades take them. Make sure to leave a comment down below. Let me know which team I should be next. Also, too, guys, I saw all your comments saying how I didn't do it right last time, so don't worry, I'm going to rectify that in this episode. If you do enjoy these videos, though, you want to see more, leave that thumbs up. So, as you guys can see here in-game, Pittsburgh Penguins top players, Crosby, Malkin, Gensel. Very curious to see what the return is for those guys if we end up, getting a trade for them. As you can see here, the Penguins in-game, 8-9 overall, so they should be a contender. Obviously, the trades, could take us one way or the other, could make us even more of a contender, or could really ruin this team. Now, just using the same settings as before here, everything's turned off except for salary cap and computer trades, with the trade difficulty set to medium. And now next year, guys, we have to fill out our trade blocks. Obviously, we're going to put the top 5 players on the block, starting with none other than Sidney Crosby. You can see good amount of trade value there, but honestly, nothing too crazy. He's followed by Gensel, Malkin. I don't know if Peterson, let me do a quick check here on Jari. Jari's got a decent amount of value. Could probably throw him on. Honestly, I'm just going to go Letang because he's a veteran, bigger name than Peterson. And then we'll do Jari there just to throw in a goalie, mix it up a bit. Obviously, if any of these guys get traded, we'll put one of their top players back on. In terms of the surplus here, it's literally everything. So any forward, any defenseman, any goalie, any picks, we're willing to trade everything. Now, the only difference for this episode is for the wants, I am going to set it as a minimum overall. Probably have it be like 75 overall. That way we get trades that are actually involving NHL players or, guys who are close to being NHL players. Also, if you guys didn't even know this existed, all you have to do is scroll down a bit. So select rating 1, rating max, of course, 99, rating min, like I said. We'll make it, let's do 77. That way, they're at least, a fringe NHLer. They're a player that can help. They can still be a prospect, too. There are some pretty good prospects in those high 70s. And we're doing that for every single position, forwards, defense, and goalies. That way, with these, stipulations in place, I can literally accept every trade. Last time, basically, that was my rule, except I didn't have, the actual overall setting in, just because that way I thought you'd get a bigger variety of trades, but you guys didn't really like that way, so we'll do that. Have any picks come in. Hopefully, there's not, 3 firsts for Crosby trade. That would kind of screw us, but I'm going to leave picks on just in case they want to do a first plus whatever. And of course, we still have our picks on the block. So we definitely could flip any picks we get back in a trade. And now next year, guys, I'll just show you what the team is looking like to start the season before, of course, I show you what it looks like to end. Should be, quite a bit different here. So first line, Gensel, Crosby, Krell, not bad. Rust, Malkin, Granlund, of course, they just traded for. Zucker, Bonino, Heinen. And then fourth line here, Archibald, Carter, Paling. Surprisingly, all have an X factor. Defensively there, Peterson, Letang, Petrie, Dumoulin, Kulikov, and Joseph. Goaltending-wise, as I mentioned, Jari's are started to Smith backing him up. Have a few prospects in the AHL, Samuel Poulin, Alex Nylander. So, again, we'll just start summing here, guys, see what trades roll in. I like the comment at the beginning of the video said, we'll find out whether or not this team ends up being a Stanley Cup contender or tanking for Bedard. And alright, guys, we got our first trade offer. Not a bad one at all either. Charlie Coyle in a 4th from Kel Granlund. I believe Coyle's 1 overall lower, actually. Yeah, he's 82 overall, but he's a power forward, so maybe, better Palm 6 player. Granlund there, 83 playmaker. Zucker probably goes to the second line, then Coyle at the third line, where Zucker was playing. Again, not a terrible offer there. Ryan Hartman, John Merrill, Ty Smith, and Lindbergh. So we're getting up a couple prospects there. Hartman just making the bomb 6 even better. Merrill getting us some defensive depth, which he kind of already had, honestly. We got Ty Smith in the AHL, we got Jan Ruda in the AHL. Hartman here, you can see 83 overall. Pretty solid two-way forward. Merrill there again, just a depth defenseman. Lindbergh here, 23-74, medium starter. Ty Smith, as I mentioned, is actually a pretty solid prospect. So we're getting some depth in return for him. Hopefully, of course, helps us with the Stanley Cup run. Another offer here, guys. A 2nd, a 3rd, and Burrows for Hollander, Paling, and a 3rd. Ooh, don't really like this trade, but we do get a 2nd-round pick back. Hopefully, we can flip into something. Burrows, I didn't show you guys there, but he's a 75, and obviously you saw earlier. Paling is, a decent player, 79 overall, but with bringing in Ryan Hartman, probably, could afford to trade him away. Now, this one here, Laurent Brossoit in a 3rd for Nick Bonito. Interesting. I mean, we don't really need a goalie, but again, bomb 6. I feel like we can afford to get Bonino. He's only got 3 points. Brossoit currently in the AHL, but we'll take that in the 3rd. And actually, in doing so, we have to call up Drake Caggiula, so hopefully he'll play well for us. And here we have Brassard being offered back to the Pittsburgh Penguins with 2 seconds for a 2nd. Pickering, I forgot about him. He's actually a solid defensive prospect. And Caggiula, who we literally just called up. So, as you guys can see here, Pickering, like I mentioned, solid prospect, 1868, medium top 4, shutdown X factor. I always find it strange when there's a 2nd on each side. The values must be just that close to the AI. And the Brassard here is an 80, so he actually, should help out if we're losing Caggiula. Buffalo offering us a 3rd and a 4th for a 3rd and 5th, and Beliveau, low top 6 potential, so really nothing crazy. 3rd round pick for Archibald. Okay, so they're just taking another bomb 6 player from us. We have to call up O'Connor. We're getting pretty close here, guys, to the Christmas break, and currently last in the division there with 30 points. Luckily, we're still not terrible. We're only 8 points back of a wildcard spot. 2 seconds there for Raquel and Kulikov. Ooh, okay. So luckily we have the defensive depth. Raquel, though, losing him for a couple seconds definitely hurts. We're in a 4th for Carter and Ruda. All of a sudden, at the Christmas break, we were selling, calling up Sam Abulin there. So still only, 1 below 500. Wildcard spot 43. Yeah, okay. So we're 9 points back of wildcard with games in hand. I mean, we're not out of it yet, but it's not looking great. LA Kings here. Are you kidding me? I feel like this is an absolute fleece for them. 2 seconds in Cal Peterson for Poulin, who's a good prospect. Brian Russ is a fine player, a 6th and a 7th. Peterson's literally a cap dump. So, like, the AI GMs are figuring out, we're accepting everything, and they're taking advantage. Like, again, Peterson's 80 overall, making 5 mil, 3 more years. Rust, 84, making that contract. He only has 9 points this year. That's not great. So, the AI must have him, like, the 3rd line. Poulin, though, like I said, one of our better prospects. I think we're going to take advantage of here, even though the value actually was on their side, surprisingly. So, yeah, this team, again, definitely selling. So, if we don't make the playoffs, maybe we'll win Bedard. That'd be kind of crazy. If Bedard joins Pittsburgh as kind of Crosby, Malkin are on their way out. And right here, guys, another trade. 3rd and a 4th for Heinen to Smith and a 7th. Again, this team ended up being a complete seller except for the stars. Now we're going for Forbert, though. 5th, 7th, DiPietro for Joseph. Joseph, of course, a solid defenseman. Pretty young still, I think. 23, 80 overall there. Forbert, he's an 80, but he's making $3 million. DiPietro, solid prospect goalie. So, interesting trade. And now getting offered Craig Smith in a 3rd for a 4th, Rudwiedel and Blomqvist. Smith, of course, was like salary cap dump in the Orlov trade. Rudwiedel here is just like a depth defenseman. He's a 79. Blomqvist there, a 76 goalie. Smith is a 79. He's got a big cap. So, 3rd round pick. I'm actually going to be very curious how many picks we're going to have at the end of the season. Now, the Sharks are offering us Andreas Janssen, a 3rd and a 4th for Marcus Peterson and St. Ivany, low top 60 potential prospect. This is worse than the Cal Peterson offer. Peterson's like a solid defenseman. Janssen is just a cap dump. Like, look at Peterson here. 26, 85, high top 4 potential, a couple X factors. He's a solid top 4 defenseman, no way around it. Contract's definitely fine for a guy 85 overall. Andreas Janssen having an okay year, I guess, but 79 overall, making 3.4 with a 3rd to 4th. I don't know where they're getting off with this trade offer. Yeah, somehow the value's like even there. I can't believe just how much it has taken advantage of us. Now, have yet to, lose Crosby or Malkin. That would really suck if we got absolutely fleeced on one of those guys. You can see Crosby there, about a point per game. I did want to show you guys, actually. We still have yet to receive an offer for any of the top 5 guys on our block. Crosby, Gensel, Malkin, Letang, and Jari. So, curious if, this changes at the deadline. Pretty much the rest of the team's been traded at this point, though. So, we'll see what happens in the next month or so. As we're at the trade deadline now, guys, still last in the division. I feel like we gotta be sellers. I think, too, if I make us sellers, there's a better chance of us trading away, Crosby and them. If you're a buyer, you're not really trading Sidney Crosby, right? So, I can see Letang there, Jari. How is Crosby not at the top? He's literally on our block. That's kind of weird he's not there. But we'll sit around here. We'll see what offers we get. Okay, so the Panthers here offering us a 2nd and a 3rd for Hartman and Dumoulin. I mean, these guys are both solid players. We're getting some value back, but really probably should be getting more. Hartman there, really good, bomb 6 player. Dumoulin, solid top 4 defenseman. We're going to have to say yes to this one. Once we're about halfway through the trade deadline, I do want to use the find trade feature on some bigger names like Crosby, Malkin, Gensel, just to obviously shake the team up and see what kind of offers we get for them. I know some people said this was cheating or something because TDI didn't do this back when he came up with the idea, but this feature wasn't in the game yet. And when you find trade, it's still like the AI offering you deals. I think it just makes it a lot more fun because obviously more trades the better. And here we go, guys. Boston Bruins just offered us Fabian Lysell and 2/3 for Chris Letang and Laurent Brossoit. I have no idea how they're pulling this trade off because they should have no salary cap space. They must have made some other trade. They're not having to retain either. I don't know what they're doing here, but Lysell, of course, a top prospect, 1st round pick back in 2021. 2/3 there. We're getting up Letang, though. Obviously, 87 overall. Still a solid defenseman at 35. Is making $6 million for the next 6 years. It's a pretty big contract, but Boston here, they're just an absolute juggernaut after this trade for sure. Look at this, we're calling up Xavier Ouellet, who I did not expect to be calling up this episode, so it shows you we've been selling quite a bit. And this is annoying, guys. I just realized by Crosby and Malkin, we're at the top of the block when we enter the trade deadline. For some reason, the AIGM took them off the trade block. I didn't think they could do that, but they're back on now. We got 2.5 hours left in this trade deadline. Hopefully we get some big offers. Again, if not, I'll probably do some fine trade. So as you guys can see, here's the trade block should have looked like. Crosby, Malkin, Gensel all at the top. And we got a few teams interested in all 3 of these guys. So like I was saying, we're going to use fine trade here. There's only an hour and a half left. See if we can kind of, gauge some interest. Crosby, open block. Come on. No trades found for Sid the Kid. Everyone in the league wants to see him retire Penguin. Let's try Jake Gensel, though. He's 28. Fine trade. No trades found. Jake Gensel maybe has like too much value. We'll try Malkin next year. His value's a bit lower. No trades found still. Wow. So I tried to like, really get a trade there for the top 3 guys, but no one was interested. That's surprising. And right here, guys, we got a small trade. The Red Wings only matter for Charlie Coyle. We got a 3rd and a 4th going each way. And now before the trade deadline ends here, guys, I want to give you an update on all the draft picks we have in the next 2 seasons. So that is a 6 second-round picks. I think we had that before. 3 thirds there. You had a 2023 though. 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 third-round picks. You got 4 fourth-round picks. Like, obviously, Pittsburgh decided to rebuild here, probably because of the slow start we had. That's the kind of the offers the teams were making us. Obviously, still being led by Crosby and Malkin, which is really surprising me, especially Malkin. Like, the value's not too high. I can't believe no team offered us, like, a first-round pick or something for him. Gensel is 28, so I guess you could still, build around him. But really, like, the rest of this team was completely dismantled. Pretty much no one else left, aside from Petrie, Zucker, and I guess Tristan Jarry as well in goals. So, not exactly how I, thought this was going to go, but that's probably par for the course when you're dealing with, like, the AI GMs. They're kind of wild. So, quickly just going to look through here the trade deadline summary just to see if any blockbusters went down. I was also, too, wondering if, like, Boston did make a big trade to clear cap space to, of course, bring in Chris Letang. Colin Parayko to the Ducks and McDonough to the Red Wings. Those are both pretty big trades. Montreal gets Matthew Knies. Leafs fans probably hate that one. Let's see. Yeah, I don't really see the Boston trade, so I'm not sure what they did, but they pulled it off. And after the trade deadline, guys, I'll give you an update look here at the team. Clearly not going to be a Stanley Cup contender as I thought we could be at the beginning of the year, so decided why not just have some fun, go top heavy. Malkin, Crosby, Gensel on the first line, getting a +5. After that line, though, there is no one on this team. So we'll see, can they carry here the last month and a half. You got Zucker, Smith, Lysell on the second line, Janssen, Brassard, Pustin in there on the 3rd, Nylander, O'Connor, Borkvist on the 4th. Defensively here, Burrows, Petrie is your top pair now. Mata, Forbert, second pair. Merrill, Friedman on the bottom. Mata should have been top pair, but we get -1. Even Forbert there's a -1, so decided to go that way. Goaltending-wise, I still have Tristan Jarry starting as a good goalie. Peterson's fine for a backup. We still just got screwed in having to take on his contract and not like getting a huge return for him. AHL-wise, you got Tokarski in net. You can see the AHL team got cleared out as well. Like, we lost so many guys. I think, obviously, a lot of them got called up to the NHL because of all the NHL players we traded, but still. These AIGMs were like sharks smelling blood in the water. They just came and took apart our team, but they left us, like I said, the 3 big guys there, Crosby, Malkin, Gensel. Crosby got 49 points in 61 games right now, which is pretty solid. In terms of the standings, so we're tied with the Blues right now for 3rd last in the division. They have 55. Coyotes and Blackhawks are the only 2 teams below us, and they're pretty far below us too, 48, 39 points respectively. Obviously, they're both, pretty rough. Devils, surprisingly, aren't having a great year either. They're at 58. So, we'll see what happens here the last month and a half. I don't see us making the playoffs, and if we don't, I think it'd be pretty cool if Pittsburgh somehow wins first overall. Alright, guys, so we finished the season with a negative record, 35, 37, and 10. But that was good for 80 points on the year, so about a point per game isn't like a terrible season for a bad team. We did finish last on the Atlantic, even Blue Jackets there, a couple points ahead of us. I can see Blackhawks, Coyotes, and the Blues for that matter, all below us. Same with the Sharks and the Ducks. So I think after the deadline, the team actually played a lot better with, Malkin, Crosby, Gensel on that first line. They won a decent amount of games. Also, too, I swear, if after the deadline you sell, your team plays better, and if you buy, your team plays worse. Sid there at 74 points, 82 games. I'll see what everyone else on this team did. Malkin there put up 65, Gensel at 56, Zucker 52. After that, no one had 50 plus. Andreas Janssen next closest. You can see there. I mean, again, I just can't believe like how much this team got torn apart. Again, these AI GMs, they're ruthless. Some of those trades, absolutely fleeces. Tristan Jarry actually had pretty good numbers for us. .912 and a 2.78. Like, that's not bad at all. I think this just shows too like how good the Metro Division is. Like, if you have a slow start, you trade away some guys, you were not getting in. So take a look here at the entire league. McDavid finished first in points, 116. Drysdale there, pointed a big year. Giroux, kind of surprisingly, 93. Everyone else makes sense. Picard, 88 is a D-man. McDavid also letting goals. Obviously, we know Picard's at the top of that list. Behind him, though, you got Victor Hedman putting up 80. That's quite a bit for him. Tied with Carlson, but look at that. Hedman, 80 points plus 58. Carlson, 80 points minus 16. Crazy they almost played together. Like, Tampa Bay was thinking about making that trade. That would have been nuts. A quick look here, rookie skaters. Matty Beniers probably winning the Calder there. 65 points with a plus 12 rating. And look at the entire league here, guys. Tampa Bay finished first place, 118 points. So I am curious where we finished, even though we missed the playoffs, because we weren't a terrible team at the end. 27th. Okay, so Obviously not great, but we had 5 teams below us there, so chances of Bedard aren't the best. We'll see what happens. Alright guys, look at this. A lot of results are in. We don't get the first overall pick, but we do get the second. So Connor Bedard there going to Arizona. I'm sure some people think that's rigged if it happens in real life. Pittsburgh though, we jump from 6th to 2nd, getting Adam Fantilli. So once Crosby retires, I'm sure he'll be like the future captain of the Penguins. So even though we missed the playoffs, obviously that is pretty cool to see. Quickly here guys, we'll take a look at the awards. You might have saw there, Minnesota Wild actually take home the Stanley Cup. We already know Tampa their President's Trophy. And Minnesota beat the Rangers there in the Stanley Cup Final. McDavid, Art Ross in the Hart. Hedman, James Norris over Makar. Probably because he had that crazy plus-minus. Makar though got the Lady Bing. Didn't have very many penalties. Beniers there, Calder, Kaprizov, Conn Smythe, Vasilevsky, Vezina along with William Jennings. Soderstrom, Bill Masterton. Seattle coach Jack Adams. Kopitar, Selke. McDavid, Ted Lindsay. And the Maurice Richard. So unfortunately we got no awards there. And we traded away a bunch of our team, missed the playoffs, but we did get Adam Fantilli. So if we were trying to rebuild the Pittsburgh Penguins, it wouldn't be a terrible season. Unfortunately, I prefer to try and win the Stanley Cup in a one-year sim, accepting all trades, but what are you going to do? Hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. If you did, leave that thumbs up. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, hit the sub button down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.